wait.
I was lying down in my bed. I thought I had a funny head. I said I lying down in my bed. I thought to scream like a yesterday. Suddenly I heard a voice. Lord, may that fire come. As I jump out of my bed, I hear them say, Lord, back then done dead. It was fire in the town. Say the whole town of it building burn down. People start to run. Like this is a Maarten, down, down, down. Fire spread all over the place. Even the carpets, them get a taste. When the governor show his face, he shouted, Lord, we will not that
Wow. I guess all of you heard that song and you're guessing why we have played that song. But we're going to get right into that in a minute. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon and we're here in Phillipsburg, or capital of St. Maarten, at the Coffee Lounge. We want to welcome all of you, as we always do on our live stream interact from all around the world. I guess you're going to hear us mention you guys in the European Union, specifically the Netherlands or Great Britain or France and Paris, some of the other areas that we always mention, but we want to just say good afternoon to all of you and good evening to all of you around the world. We go back into the United States of America, specifically to New York City, Texas, Boston area, Florida, and the other states within the United States of America. Welcome to all of you to Interact live stream. And then we can't never forget the Caribbean region, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Commonwealth of Dominica, Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the ABC Islands, Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, and we go right back into SSS Islands, specifically to Station and Sabre, going right in as we navigate into St. Maarten, and we're going to make a stop at Anguilla. We're going to make another stop at St. Bart's, and then we're going to just navigate into French St. Maarten before we take the cruise or a boat to take us into the lagoon, across into St. Maarten, into the Simpson Bay area as we drive our way and get into Phillipsburg, St. Maarten, in the capital, where we are at the Coffee Lounge for another special broadcast of Interact Live Stream. You guys know who our guest is, so needless to keep him in suspense. And I wanted to make sure that I don't make any errors, and I'm laughing because I'm saying that you know how we operate. But I wanted to make sure that I do not make any mistake with his intro because he is awesome. But what I'm going to read here is going to define exactly who this guest is all about and what he represents. First of all, let me get into, he is a senior executive of the government of St. Maarten. He is an internationally accomplished athlete. He's a husband, a father, a role model, a sports mentor, and an icon. as well as a St. Maarten legend. Let me just say this. The success story called Morven Bauperthuy. What an introduction. And there's so much more to say about him, Jeffrey. And I can see you all smiles before we get Morven on the live stream. I'm trying to read what you're trying to say here, Jeffrey. So welcome to you. And also, can you say a few words before we bring in Morven, because Morven is one of your mentors.
Yeah, of course.
Looked up to him because being a sportsman yourself, you have a lot to say about him during the program. So I want to give you the opportunity right now to even say welcome. And while we're on that, let me just make sure to get back to the song that we played a minute ago. That was the song Fire in the Town, the government building burned down.
Yeah.
It is March, not March, it is August the 12th, today in the year of our Lord 2023. But about 49 years ago on this day, in 1974, our first administration building on the Frontstreet area where the old cartoons was. For those of you who are that age, you remember back then. And I'm sure our guests probably will talk about that in the beginning as we go into the program. But the old cartoons building and all of that, that is the area where the first government building was. Because when you look at it, we had 3 government buildings. That building at Frontstreet, and then we have the building at the Kremlin Square, and then the other building, the new government building as we have right now on the Pawn Island.
Exactly.
So our friend, also our neighbor, my mom on the Bush Road, Leroy, today's his birthday. And while the government building was burning, he was being extracted out of the body of his mom. That's the only way I want to say it. But we want to say happy birthday to you, Leroy. We want to wish you well, wish you the best. And thank you for reminding us that today the government building would have celebrated, the old government would have celebrated 49 years old. Jeffrey, I want you to talk about anyone else that celebrated a birthday today or any other special occasion. But I say again, welcome to you, and just give your introductory note before we go into our special guest this afternoon.
Yeah, Roberto, first of all, I want to say this guest today is a very special guest of mine. I mean, I can talk from now till, Kingdom Day about this person, because we travel so much together, playing volleyball. He was one of the persons I always looked up to. Whenever I played, before I started to play volleyball, I always looked up to him because he was one of the hardest hitters when it comes around volleyball. I never forgot that. But one of the things I want to say, because I looked at his name, Morven. And when I was young growing up, we used to call him Morven with an Mervin. But after a while, and looking at social media, they started to look at it from a different angle, where they put Morvin. So I want Morven to tell me, how did that change really? Because I never remember him having that Morvin in his name, So he had to tell me exactly how that got to change to that particular name. And Morven, I want to also say to him that the first person, I always mention the first person that comes on the program. And today, this person is a very special person to Morven, I'm sure. And that person is none other than Tochi Myers. Tochi never really come on this program. He's not one of the regular Interact live stream viewers. But today he makes sure that he was the first person that came on the program for this afternoon. And I also want to mention Jean-Elige. Jean-Elige, I'm sure Morven knows Jean-Elige very good. And Kenneth Richardson from, I used to play steel band with Kenneth Richardson. Morven's supposed to know Kenneth as well. And they're all coming from Middle Region area, Soccer Garden area, St. Peter's, South Reward. Everybody knows Morven Bauperthuy. So it's going to be a great program this afternoon.
And like you said,
before you start to talk, I just got Dimitri Bauperthuy, his son, just came on our Interact live stream program.
Jeffrey, we always countries, you know, that's why we mention all the countries around the world that are always on our Interact live stream because it is so important that we do that because we always want you to know, you the live stream viewers, to know where the other viewers are streaming from. Because St. Maarten is not just known by the people of St. Maarten, but all around the world. And Morven Bauperthuy is legendary.
He's legendary.
Because of his career, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to just say hi to Mr. Agent Myers.
Agent Myers.
I can only say this. He's not on the island. He's not on the island.
But he's looking at it. He's live streaming.
Location.
Yeah.
But we want to say welcome to ATN. I don't know if this is the first time he's been on.
And MP, I have also MP Rayon Peterson is on the program as well this afternoon. So I'm sure you're gonna get so much people that are gonna come on just to see Morven. Believe what I'm saying.
Why you at that, Jeffrey, talking about MP Rayon Peterson? MP Rayon.
Okay.
In front of all of the world, I want you to know that I tried to reach you today, and you need to give me a call as soon as you can, probably when we get off the air. So welcome to Livestream Broadcast, and let us get right to our special guest.
Special guest.
Morven just introduced you. We said everything about you. There's so much more to talk about. We just want to say to you, welcome to Interact Livestream.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon. Jimmy the Greek. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Great. You know, like I said before, you know, we like I said that to Morven even earlier. I said, Morven, there's so much about your career, so much about your life, so much about your story that needs to be told. And I said to him, I want us to go in the sequence that we don't miss anything, you know, from let's say from childbirth. I want you to talk about the Bauperthuy family. If you can say a little bit about the Bauperthuy family, you know, you're laughing, but it's Morven. I just want to be clear. Was it your grandfather or your father? He didn't have as much children as Ellie Butcher. That's not for sure now. But you're laughing. But I just want you to talk about the Bauperthuy families a bit, and then I want you to just get into Morven, the father, the family man, the husband. Let's take that category for a minute before we go into your career itself. So start from the beginning.
I was born in French Quarter at home. Yeah, I am from French Quarter. Not in a hospital at home, so I'm not a mistake. That's for sure.
I like that.
I come from a large family. Both sides of my family is large. From my father's side, which is the Bauperthuys, is one of the biggest families.
Yes.
My mother's side is Phillips, one of the other biggest families. Both sides have proud history. You would need a couple of days to be able to go through it.
Absolutely.
I have 27 siblings. There's 27 of us in total.
Wow.
Yeah. What else is there?
All alive still?
No. There's a couple deceased.
Yeah, but you know, yesterday I was talking to Bauperthuy. Celeste. I was talking to Celeste, and I told Celeste I'm gonna have Morven on the white program tomorrow. He said, "My brother." He said, "That's my brother." That's what he said to me.
Like you said, that was Celeste.
No, and he told me, "I want to come on the program too." He said, "Just make sure put me on the program, Jeffrey."
He has a lot of information.
Yes.
Lots of information.
Yeah.
So get back to but is Celeste your eldest brother or
No, Celeste is not.
sibling?
Celeste is
Not
not
eldest. Not
You
eldest.
got a couple before Celeste.
Okay, good. So that's the Bauperthuy. But you also mentioned the mother's side
The Phillips.
of your family, the Phillips. Are they the Phillips from the original?
That's correct.
In the corner there,
You got that right.
Maarten Phillips,
Just above each
Ben
other.
Phillips.
Ben Phillips,
Same people.
all of that. So they like your uncles or your cousins or
We grew up, we started out on the French side, the French Quarter,
Yes.
and then we came over to Middle Region. We're surrounded by family on both sides of the road.
Wow.
When I say on both sides of the road, I should say on both sides of the road all the way into town.
Wow.
Okay, good.
I have 5 kids.
Okay.
Wife at home. I have a bunch of grandchildren.
A bunch.
Yeah, can't get enough of those.
Wow.
When you say a bunch, like, because you make me know a bunch, like what, 10, 15, 20?
We ain't that far yet, but we get in there.
We get in there. Morven, you have, and while we're talking about your family and we're talking about your children, I don't know all of your children, but I want to basically single out Dimitri.
Dimitri.
For example, because he's walked in your footsteps quite a lot. He has achieved much as well professionally with his background, where he has come from. But is it that you have been an influence in his life from childhood that has taken it into the direction that you are in yourself?
Dimitri, I would say Dimitri is a complete half Almora and half me.
Okay.
Dimitri is the better two halves of both of us. And then he put that together.
Wow.
And he is himself.
He mastered that.
Okay.
People sees me and Dimitri because of the resemblance and it's my son. But Dimitri is Dimitri. Trust me on that.
Wow. So you were saying that he's become his own man in the sense that, as you said he's half of Elmore, he's half of you. But when you see him and what he has achieved, and everything that he has done, and how he performs, would you say that he's self-made, or would you say that, okay, that part of Dimitri is just like Elmore, but that part of Dimitri is just like Morven? Would that be said out there?
It's being said all the time. But to be fair, Dimitri has taken both halves and made it his own way. Yes, Elmora has a lot of influence on Dimitri. I have a lot of influence on Dimitri growing up. But the end product, that is, let's say you put it in a blender, you mix it up, and then he's an accomplished bartender as well. So he put it in a blender, he mix it up, and he add his own alcohol. That's the finished product that I would say Dimitri is.
And Dimitri is your eldest child?
No. Dimitri is my second son. You have Horatio, Dimitri, Mika, then you got Samantha in between, and then Daniel.
Okay, and all of them were in St. Maarten with you?
At this moment, Horatio is off island, Mika is off island, Samantha is off island, and Daniel is off.
Wow, interesting. And what are they are part of they go to school, or they all adults already, or they're still students? Am I correct to say that?
No.
I just want to get in the age bracket to see, if they...
Horatio is the oldest.
Okay.
Mika is the third. Mika is now living in, I think it's Colorado. She was just in St. Kitts Nevis.
Okay.
Samantha went to Holland to go to school. She finished her schooling. She now has a play school that she's running in Holland.
Wow.
Daniel is in the Dominican Republic at the baseball academy.
Wow. I want to ask you this. I want to ask you this, Morven, because, and especially on behalf of the fathers of St. Maarten, because in the Caribbean region, and especially also in St. Maarten, it tends to be said that mothers always are the ones that are paying more attention to the children than the fathers. In your case with your children, would you say, and I'm not putting you on a spot here, would you say that you have been that father that has put a lot of attention into the upbringing, let's say, and the development of all of your children?
I don't like to put down any parent at all, because I don't know what that parent has been through. I have been involved with my children. Dimitri and Horatio used to live at home with me. Mika used to live with her mom. I saw Mika a lot less than I saw the other two.
Okay.
If I would be able to do it over, I would find a way to spend a lot more time with her as well.
Okay.
Daniel and Samantha lived at home with me. Children need both parents. Both parents. Like I was saying before, Dimitri is a mixture of two. That's the same with every child. So the only way that child can get to know both halves and find themselves is by being involved with both halves.
Okay.
Why do you talk? Because there's so many things I can ask because I don't want to, because there's so many things we don't want to talk about you yourself, Morven. But I guess that you touch on all of your children, and it's so important because these programs are archived, and it's so important that when it's played back 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years from now, you know, the family, the siblings, the children are able to play it back and would have been able to hear what you as their dad or their grandfather would have said about them, even the early stage that would have developed them into becoming what they would become in the future. So there would be things that you are saying right now, Morven, that is going to, let's say, establish them to where what are they going to become. So that's why we are asking all those questions. And Jeffrey, we know that you are the type of father that you've been. And would you say that is a Bauperthuy trait that you have in you? Because the Bauperthuy family is also a close-knit family. Your dad, your late dad, and all that. So would you say that is something that you developed from your father, from your dad, or from your mom?
I wish I could put my finger on it, but I think it comes from both sides. I never paid attention to it because these are things that you normally take for granted. You got your mother, you got your father's side of you, so. But my father was a strict disciplinarian.
Yeah.
My mother was my refuge.
Okay.
I would say it's a blend of both again.
I see, because I was going to ask you, if there's one thing that you could measure. So then when you say your refuge, you're basically saying that is a trait of a lot of Caribbean mothers. Your mother is the one that you can run to for solace. Your mother, like you said, she's a refuge. Your mother is the one that will give the love, then, the togetherness to the family. But your father was strict disciplinarian, cause you guys, all the children to be developed into what they become today. So that is the Caribbean, is this in mom trait? You want to add something to that?
Yeah, if I can go back on that. My father has never seen me play any sport.
Never.
No. My father was one of those people that could not say to a boy, child, I love you. And that is something that I have changed completely. If I speak to Dimitri 5 times for the day, if I speak to Daniel 5 times for the day, Rachel 5 times for the day, I end by saying I love you. Because I want them not to fall into the same thing, to be able to tell their boy child that they love him. I have male friends that I speak to. Jeffrey's one of them.
Yeah.
And I end by saying, love you.
Yeah. That's true.
There's nothing is wrong with it.
What about me?
I do the same.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's
but
true.
But you say something because it's so important, because everybody's are curious. They want to get into your career, Morven Bauperthuy, the great Morven Bauperthuy. But we want to talk about that other area. But I'm curious to know the answer to this question, Morven. You're laughing. Because a lot of parents are looking out here, and we're talking about the generation before us, our generation and the generation to come. Because you have your father, Daniel Bauperthuy, we have our father, late Eki, and the butcher and all that, they were disciplinarians as well.
Yeah.
You said, you've never heard your father say, let's say, you want to do, but he did. He did, but he never mentioned it.
He never
But
said
you
it.
said afterwards that you always say to your children, and I'm going to keep it to the children, that you love them all, and your boy children.
All of them.
Didn't say it
Specifically
to a boy child.
to the boy child. But you were not, but Morven, a question, but you were not trained, to redevelop yourself into saying that to your boy children. How did that transformation come about, that transformation? How did that started? What made you do that or start to do that?
There's a lot of things that I sat down on certain days and look at. I sat down and I look at where I want to be in the future, where I want to go. And another thing that I do is, if I answer you, I tell you thank you kindly. This is something that I picked up whilst working with Mr. Maarten, the ex-Prime Minister. He had a young lady there by the name of Kioma Hema. And everything she said was, she always ended, thank you kindly. I was like, wait a minute. It not only sounds good, but it might make a difference for the person on the other side. So I adopted that and I made it part of me. The same way, like I said, my father never saw me play. My father was to the field already with me in Paris. He didn't even look at the game. My father's perception was that you all are not that good because you lose today, you win tomorrow. If you were good, you would win always. That's not the way sports is. And I taught my children from young. Sports is about participating, the friends you make, the memories, not just about winning. Winning is something extra. That's like the little icing on the cake. That's not what it's about. Look at the friendship that we have over the years. It came from sports. We knew each other from before, from the same area.
Yes. Sure.
But because of the sports, we grew into this friendship. And those are the things that made me sit down and think, wait a minute. I miss that. And believe me, I missed it really bad. That my father couldn't tell my children that he loved me. And I made sure, and I'm sure Dimitri is smiling right now. Because one day I dropped Dimitri, he was doing intern at GB. And I dropped off Dimitri in front of GB. Started. And before he got out, like normal, Dimitri reached over, he hugged me and he said, love you, Dad. And as he got out, some guys was looking at him and
What's going on there?
he was like, what? My father. And that stayed in my mind forever.
Yes, so while in saying that, Morven, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you right now on this live stream here while you're speaking to many fathers all around the world right now. Because this is something that is bringing a lot of curiosity into, specifically fathers. What would you say to the fathers that have not been able to, let's say, transform into that part of being a loving father to their children, to demonstrate to them that love not only, parent love not only comes from the mother, but it comes from the father as well. So what would you say to the fathers out there? And I want to stop here because this is going to become a parent program if you don't look at it. You know, what would you say to the fathers out there that to encourage them and to motivate them and to direct them as to what caused you to transform into that father being brought up by your dad, the great, Morven Bauperthuy, being this militant person? What caused you to transform, and how would you say to other fathers out there that they would be to encourage them to transform as well into that loving father?
It's nothing difficult. Most people that are sitting in right now, they know me. Most people that are there, they know me. If you know me, you know that I have a special relationship with my children. And I'm sure that each and every one out there that's watching right now thinks that they're special. Wouldn't you want to have the same relationship with your child? Work at it. Talk to your children. You would be surprised how understanding children are. The child that is longing for a parent love, whether it's the mother or the father, a child is always willing to give you a chance to talk. Talk to your child. Let them know how you feel, what you've been through, what transpired that you have not been the way you would like to be, and ask the child to help you together for you to reach that spot. And the final part I would say is you have no idea what you're missing. When you have a good relationship with your children, you have no idea what you're missing. Work on it.
Wow, that's awesome.
I have Philip Van Delden. He said most honest answers. You know, Philip Van Delden was the son of
Yes, a good friend
the
of
Lieutenant
ours.
Governor Van Delden.
Philip's a good friend of ours.
Governor at the time that the building burned down.
Exactly.
That's right.
His father was governor at that time.
Yes. You see, so that you see, like, when you, as a father, Morven, say things like this on live stream, it's gonna pull in other fathers who sometimes the fathers are sitting back and they're not saying anything, but they're listening, so they want to get an opportunity to be able to come out, also to be able to give their contribution as well. But I want to go quickly into, because there's so many areas that we want to touch on. I know Jeffrey wants to talk about your career also in sports, but I want to go into your career right now, not specifically because you mentioned it, because I didn't really want to touch on it. But would you say that how you were developed, how you were brought up, I would say your professional career over the years that have you, let's say, and I want to use the right word, in the position or the role that you have been playing right now, being special, I would say special assistant to the prime ministers past and present, because I need to know, I'm very curious, because this is a very delicate thing, working very closely to prime ministers, because it is very personal as well. It calls for not only professionalism, but it calls for loyalty, it calls for all of that. But you have been able to work with so many prime ministers of St. Maarten. What attributed to that? What were the things about Morven Bauperthuy that made him stand out, so that every prime minister who would come in to sit in office would accept having you continuing on in the role that you are playing right now with each of them? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, that's a question that I wish I could answer. I believe that everything about me, everything about the discipline that I have,
Yes.
goes right back to sports. For you to train, Tochi can tell you, because Tochi would wake up the guys and Tochi would drive the car and you gotta run.
Yes.
You gotta put in the work.
Yes.
For you to be able to put in that work to get where you want to go, you have to be disciplined. And the same disciplines that you use in sport is the same discipline you use on your job. It's the same discipline you use in your everyday life. 100%.
That's true.
And coming back down to that question, I like to believe that I am not political.
Okay.
My job, I am loyal to the office of the Prime Minister. Whoever the person that is sitting there,
Yes.
okay, that is my job. I don't choose, I don't critique, I don't criticize. That's not part of my job.
I wanna jump back on that what you just said there, Morven, but I want to quickly two words that came into my mind about you. Would you consider yourself to be someone that is humble and someone that I would say, demonstrate respect in all that you do? Because, and I'm sure that the answer would be yes to respect because of your upbringing, but the humility, because that is something that everyone would say that they see in you, and that has been something that have probably have made you so successful in all that you do. And I would combine the you functioning with every prime minister the same way as how you've been able to be so successful as an athlete with every team that you have played with locally or abroad. You are able to find your place and fit in and do the job that you're called to do. Is that a way to define Morven Bauperthuy?
I would say yes. I would say yes. And then I would say yes again, and then I would say yes again. Because I believe in being humble. Humble is the only way, in my mind, that you can help another person. Because if you are not humble and you're helping another person just to say that you help them, I don't know the right word to use, but humbleness is something that it shouldn't be that you have to think about it. Every day, I believe that you can make a difference for somebody else every single day.
So you say it back on humility. So that humility that Morven Bauperthuy exudes as someone, as an individual, it has been what has made you so successful in everything that you have been able to do, whether it is in your professional career as an athlete or in your professional career also in government. So that humility, being able to adjust. So do you find yourself, do you consider yourself as being very flexible and able to adjust to whatever situation or circumstances that you find yourself in?
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. Because I pride myself on not letting things take a hold of me. For instance, if there's a problem, leave it at the door when you go to work. It's not part of your job. Leave it at the door. If you want to pick it back up on your way home, pick it up and carry it back home. There's where you brought it from. But if you take that in there with you, and I'm one of those people that is quick to say, hey, we spoke about it, I'm sorry, we move on. And if I speak to you about something today, you want to speak about it tomorrow, you can speak about it. But I already forget that it was a problem. I even don't use that word anymore. I've taught myself, instead of saying problem, to start saying challenges. Just little things.
I think you want, because I was going to jump in on something, but did you want to do something, Jeff?
No, there's a lot of people coming on
And
talking about Morven. Yeah. Wendell Phillips says he's a great sportsman and family member of mine. I think he's a family member of yours as well.
That's correct.
He said he has shown discipline in every single thing he has done. He continues. What he said is it? Wow.
There's so many people coming
Yeah,
in.
no, so many people coming in.
It's like crazy. You can't
No,
keep track of
I
it.
can't keep a track
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
Thanks, Wendell. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
And then also, remember, he's shown discipline in every single thing he has done. He continues to serve the Prime Minister in the past and to know in the future, and until now in the future. And also, I have Patricia Phillips Lawrence. I'm tuning in late, but I just wanted to commend Morven. He is indeed a very humble person, respectful, and absolutely professional security person. I truly admire his stand and attitude to life. That's
Thank you, ma'am.
well said.
the Minister of
Minister of Education.
Education. Yeah.
Minister of Education.
You know, while Jeffrey is looking at, and Jeffrey, you can interrupt us, when
And there's a lot of
someone
people
is
coming
saying, a lot of folks are coming on.
No,
all
a
the
lot of
time.
people coming on.
But you see, why I'm trying to pull all of this out, Morven, because it's not, let's say, for Jeffrey, myself, or yourself, but for a lot of people out there who are watching the live stream, because some people are going through, let's say, challenges or struggles as to why they are not achieving this or why they're not achieving that or why they're not moving forward in life. And sometimes they don't realize sometimes it can be right in their own attitude towards and their approach or their humility as to how they go about things. I want to ask you this because, and not because we didn't really want to go that direction, but it's very interesting to do that because you talked about being non-political, which is perfect as a civil servant, as a top civil servant, as a top in let's say in your area, security at that level is very important. I want to ask you this. Because every prime minister, and this is very open, it has to do with you, it has to do with anything beyond you. You have been able to adjust very quickly in working with every prime minister, past and present of St. Maarten, on day one. Is it that because you have been preparing your psyche as to the personality of the prime minister coming in, or is it probably maybe you may not know the personality of the coming prime minister, the new prime minister, but would it be that because the personality of Morven Bauperthuy, and how you've been developed, how you developed, and how you've grown up as a youngster in your lifetime, is that made you able to do what you've been able to do and to be able to adjust very quickly with every prime minister?
I would like to say that it has a lot to do with the sports background. But when you put the sports background into it, the bottom line is plain and simple. That job is not about me. It's about the principle that's coming in. When I say the principle, the person that I'm protecting, the Prime Minister in this case. That job is about the Prime Minister. It's not about me. If I am the one that is being seen, then I'm basically making a show for myself. Adjusting to the person that come in. Plain and simple. It's not about you. It's about the principle.
You keep saying every time, and I am really appreciating the way you're defining it. You keep saying, Morven, the Prime Minister. What I'm interpreting by that is that you're saying the role that the individual is playing at that particular point, office of the Prime Minister. So what you are saying here in essence is that you represent, you respect, and you're carrying out the responsibility of the office of the Prime Minister, being the Prime Minister, him or herself, and not who the individual happens to be.
Okay.
So that is what has made you be successful in carrying out your tasks that you've been able to in all of these years, because your focus has been always in the responsibility, the role of the Prime Minister, and not the person who is the Prime Minister. Did I analyze it the way you see it?
Pretty much so. You mentioned that representing the office of the Prime Minister. I would change that term, the way you said it. I would change it. I don't represent the office of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
I am there for protection.
Okay.
I'm not a representative of the Prime Minister.
I understand.
But everything that I do will reflect on the office of the Prime Minister, because if I walk across a road and I take my time going across the road and a guy blows and I says, man, what's wrong with you? Or take it easy. The first thing that the person on the side of the road that knows where I work is going to say, and that's a security for the Prime Minister. You have to be aware of these things, but you also have to be aware you are not the representative of the Prime Minister.
But in the role that you're playing too, it means also that you cannot be distracted because you just use the very important word meaning security. So it means that you have to be always attentive with the responsibility that you have, meaning that you are not able to be greeting. And you know, sometimes the culture, was the Maarten culture, people see you and they want you to, hey Morven, what's going on? This one want to call you and distract you, and then they get upset if you don't greet them. But you have a role to play, a responsibility to carry out, that you cannot be distracted because in a moment's notice, something can go wrong that you can be held responsible for.
That's correct. 100%.
And do you lead a team there, or is it a small team or a large team, or is it so? But in any case, but that covers that part of it. But I just want to understand how you function in that area, and you've made it very clear because it is something that is also it's also a lesson that all civil servants can learn, whether whoever they have to answer to, that it is a job and it is not the person. But let's move on from that. Let's move on to that. You need to get into your professional career, because before we go into the areas of your great achievements, you said earlier a few times before, you said that you were very good in a sport that most of us don't know about. And for the viewers out there who will be shocked, I want you to mention that sport that they may not know that you were a great athlete in, because you're laughing.
My first love for sports was boxing. If I might say it myself, I think I was at least 3 to 4 times better at boxing than baseball or volleyball. Well, my mom, I was in a ring once. My mom didn't agree with it, and she didn't permit it. Now looking back, I need to say thanks to my mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, was it
I've seen a lot of people that were in boxing that are not themselves. I have a brother that was one of the greatest boxers in St. Maarten. That's Ferdinand Glasgow.
Yeah.
A brother that I grew up idolizing. I wanted to be like my brother. That's all I wanted to be in sports. Today my brother is not 100%. I'd like to believe that boxing played a big role in it.
Okay.
So my mom probably saved my life.
You're talking really about the physicality of boxing. And that is what probably had your mom, what she saw, she really wanted to protect you.
She did.
But what made you believe then that you were such a great boxer?
I wouldn't say great. What I would say is that at that young age I was better at boxing than baseball.
Because why we didn't want to get out of it? Because when you see you're better, you had faster hands, you had a knockout punch, things like that. I want to know because you didn't have a long career, but because it's why would you say that you were greater in that sport when you did not play that sport for a career? If you have to look that and compare that with the other sports that you played, what made Morven Bauperthuy say that? Because you keep saying it all the time. I'm trying to point it out to you because you keep saying it. Why are you saying that?
Again, you say great. I said I was better at boxing
Exactly.
at that young age.
Then the two other sports. Yeah, yeah. You said it.
Okay.
I have a
My
gen-
love for boxing was far greater.
Okay.
And like one of your guests, Mr. Myers,
Yes.
I believe in hitting and not getting hit.
Wow. You see that? Okay. I see where you're
I
going
have a
from.
gentleman by the name of Joseph Richardson. He said, "Good afternoon." He's in the room watching from Atlanta. I don't know if you know who the person is.
Yeah, Joe. He's very Joe.
He's from the region?
Yeah, we call him Joe. Am I correct?
I don't know if you call him Joe, but his name is Joseph Richardson. And he said he's watching from Atlanta.
So
Afternoon, Joe.
that's someone that you knew, you
Yeah.
grew up, you grew up
in
with.
yeah.
Grew up with
So
him.
he knows all that. So Morven, you got out of the sport, you got out of boxing, and then what made you move on to whatever sports? Tell us a story about the sports career of Morven and how it transformed into where you are today. Because we see a lot of trophies, we see a lot of achievements, we hear about all that. We want to get into that. Jeffrey and I are going to talk about that as we move on. So okay, you know what? You got a choice right here. Volleyball or baseball? Where do we start? What do you want to
I
talk
think he
about
started
first?
forever with volleyball. I think so.
No, but I want to ask you,
Or
what do you want
baseball.
to start talking about?
We passed Melvin when he was coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
that-
Melvin. Okay, let's talk about
Yeah.
volleyball. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
volleyball. So,
And when I tell you we passed Melvin, Atom Boys was started by that same gentleman we passed outside.
That's a fact.
Melvin Gums.
That's a fact.
We call him Tata.
that's right.
Yeah. Tata basically molded Atom Boys. Every afternoon after school, we stayed at Milton Peters and we trained.
So,
Tata.
so your volleyball career started with Autumn Boys.
With Atom Boys.
So you never played volleyball before? Before Autumn Boys?
In a competition?
Somewhere.
No.
No, never. We played just playing around the ball and stuff like that. Why Tata really started Atom Boys is that he took me to a training with, I think the name was Jazinho.
Yeah.
Jazinho.
Together boys, yes.
Jazinho
Together
Together
boys,
Boys.
yes. I remember that. Yes.
He took me to a training, Carlos
Errol Lamoni and those guys used to work.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Errol Lamoni was the one running the training.
Correct.
That's true.
When we went in, Melvin is Tata's real name. He introduced me to Errol. He said, I brought this guy from school. I want you to take a look at him. That club practice, and when practice was over, I still didn't, Errol never even took a look at me. I didn't warm up with him or anything. Saying this, me and Errol are pretty good friends way after that. As we were walking, going, Tata turned to Carlos Patrick and he said, I'm not going to stay in this anymore. You can come with me or you can stay. I'm going to form a team in school. He said, I brought Morven here for Errol to take a look. The man didn't even touch the field. And that's when Tata started the team and Carlos stayed with the Jacinto. That's how Tata started.
But the Jairzinho together, because like Errol, was it that Errol and those guys, specifically Errol, probably was an accomplished player coming back from the Netherlands or so? Would you say that that was part of it, that that what they had, let's say, above you guys? But what was the age? What was that age period at that time? Because you guys were in your teens, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I think we were a bit older than 15.
Yeah.
We could have been 16, 17. We were in our last class at MPC.
So that is when you really started volleyball.
And ironically, our first game was against Jazinho.
And just because when you bring in my memory, I'm a little younger than you are. But the Jazinho Together Boy, Jeffrey, they were the team before Autumn Boys.
Actually,
Or there was
the
a
champion
team
team before them was if I'm not mistaken, Teach United.
Yeah, Teach United as well.
Teach
I did for
United,
1
Teach
year.
United.
That's right.
And before Teach United, it was the team from when
I am.
Maarten.
I am.
Not
Hot already?
No. Hot already boys.
Is it Hot Already Boys?
Yes,
I think
hot
it's Hot
already
Already
yeah.
Boys.
Hot already
From
boys.
William
Wesley
Maarten.
Marlin,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
William, Walter.
Walter,
I think Gilbert Lucas was with them.
Gilbert,
Papa.
Luca. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, hot already boys. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. So you're saying, go back to Tata, you're saying that he's the one, because I'll tell you, Jeffrey and I too, we really learned to play volleyball under him.
Yeah,
Under
yeah.
Tata. He trained-
Because
trained
I
us.
remember Tata starting a younger volleyball team. We
That
were
was That
younger,
was after Atom.
and we were
Yeah.
micro boys.
Micro boys.
And-
Yes.
and
You all even
Tata-
played us one afternoon in school.
Yes,
you got it.
and Tata had the Hot Already Boys. I mean
The
the
Atom boys.
Atom Boys.
Atom boys.
And Tata was training us as well. Tata trained us, and we had Raleigh as well. Raleigh
Ronnie was
Wilson
on
and Atom Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Tata put so much time into training the Atom Boys,
Yes.
the Micro Boys.
micro
that
boys.
Tata basically, not that he went backward, he stayed stagnant at where he was talent-wise.
I
And
understand
the
what you're
players that he
saying.
trained, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
putting so much energy into them that they kept going.
Exactly.
He is
That's
the one that
boy.
is
That's
responsible.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you was then Michael Boyd was kind of like a minor league team because we were
To
younger.
Atom Boys.
Atom
Yeah,
Boys.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
you would filter into Atom
Fella
Boys
Herman,
after-
Van Hennigan,
Yes,
Glenn
yes.
Patterson,
Yes, yes,
all those guys. We played ball with them. Gal.
yes. So, but to the for volleyball, come back to the volleyball. I want to talk about your accomplishments in volleyball specifically, not just in St. Martin, but abroad. Let's talk about some highlights, talk about some moments, talk about some experiences that you've had in volleyball, 5 moments for you that you would want to talk to our live viewers about. Jeffrey's laughing. I don't
Of
know what he's
course,
laughing about.
I remember I played with Atom Boys for 1 year. I played with Atom Boys, and I played the Antillean Championship with Atom Boys.
And but that year that you played, sorry that Jeffrey jumped in over
That's
it,
okay.
but
Yeah.
that year that you played, that I remember that year that you played, Morven
Morven played.
Boys.
No, one thing I always remember with Morven had a heart out of this world. He was never scared. Even the guys were hitting the ball hard, Morven would go up and stop them and play against them. But he was never scared about the guys he played against.
Yeah, but like you said, that's you know, one of the things that I followed too, Morven, about you, because I was not sort of a big, great volleyball player like you guys, but what I saw in you for sure, you know, and Jeffrey had that as well, is that you guys were very passionate. It was not just
We
your
love the sports.
dedication, it's when you love the sport, but you're passionate about the sport. You gave all of yourself. You emptied yourself into a game whenever you played. What developed that within you that you were able to become that type of class, athlete from the beginning? What inspired you? What was it about Morven Bauperthuy that caused you to be able to excel to such greatness?
I would chalk out to practice. Practice. You can't just sit down and then the day of the game go in there. You have to practice. You have to practice, and then even when you're home, if you sit down watching television, I'm sure you did it a
Of
couple of times.
course.
You're not boring.
Boy, yeah, you play.
Yeah.
You have to practice.
Of course, I did it a lot of times.
The discipline that you put into it is what you're gonna get out.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, what I noticed too about you, and I'm thinking back, because you know, this is a very, how should I say, complex interview to have because we got to go into a lot of the details about Morven Bauperthuy, the athlete. So there's a lot of specifics that we want to touch on so the live stream viewers can hear. You talk about your passion. You talk about the practice. But what I also saw over the years too in your career is that when you came out to play Morven, you came out to win. And that was something that you wanted to demonstrate within your co-players on the field. I don't know if I'm saying because I see Jeffrey saying yes there. This is an agreement. Yeah. What I saw in Morven Bauperthuy is that when you came to play, it was like a Kobe Bryant or let's say a Michael Jordan, those guys. I know you're very humble, so you're not going to respond to what I want to say. You're laughing, but those, to me, those were some of the things that caused you to inspire, to be an inspiration to a lot of other players, including Jeffrey, for example, and a lot of other players. Was that because that was just who Morven Bauperthuy was back then and still is now?
I can try and say it so that in a way that it becomes quite easy. Every time that I put a uniform on, I see myself as putting my flag on. And if I am representing my flag, I'm representing St. Maarten. So even in a local game, when I put my uniform on, I have on St. Maarten flag on me.
Okay.
So I can't be mediocre.
I understand.
I want for any coaches that listening right now, that hearing me, teach it to your children when they're going out. When you're going, take them to the Little League ballpark, wherever. You put on a uniform, it's your flag. Wear it the correct way. Make sure it's clean. If it have holes, make sure it gets patched. But that passion, if we teach them that pride, that passion then spill over into the game.
During this whole interview, and I'm sure Jeffrey would have noticed that, and all the live stream viewers too, you give me the impression that you are. I don't know if you know the animal as a chameleon. Why I'm saying that is that what I have always picked up from you over the years, but even in this interview, Morven, is that you have the ability to transform into the brand or the product or the person that you need to be when you need to be that person. We are sitting here right now and we are having an interview now with the great Morven Bauperthuy. He's sitting next to us here, very humble, very confident, very assertive, knows what he's talking about, knows what he's saying, but saying it in a very humble way that you're able to understand, utilize it, viewers. But I also experienced Morven Bauperthuy, I would say the killer, the beast, you understand? The killer, the beast. When he comes on the volleyball field, it's like he becomes someone that you fear. You want him to get to the back, exactly. You want him to get to the back because he's to the front. You're almost afraid that he might just hit you a ball in the middle of your face, which has happened at times. So we have other great volleyball players who have the same ability and strength and all of that. But what is it that happens inside of Morven Bauperthuy that make you transform in the way you transform, that you become this beast, this monster, this animal, this I would say this lion that whatever object is your opponent, you want to destroy.
But Roberto, I was there when Morven burst balls.
You understand what I'm saying?
Burst balls. I was there.
Yeah, so I'm saying that
I saw it.
because you see, I'm trying to get this. There's a lot of young stars out there, young St. Martiners that are out there that needs to listen to some of the qualities, some of the attributes that you need to have as a young athlete that is going to make you become great, that you would achieve much, because you have been able to transform yourself in these various categories. So what happens when Morven Bauperthuy puts on his uniform, his volleyball uniform, he goes to the court, he goes to the game, it's match time, what happens then?
It's kind of strange, yeah, because it was a night at the sports auditorium. I'm one of those people that both of you know, when I walk into the auditorium, I take a seat, I sit down, and I don't move.
I know.
I sit right there.
Yeah.
Anushka Brown walked in, and she was passing by, and she was, "Night, Anushka." You see, you know what is killing me with you, Morven? No style at all. Everybody know what you can do, but you just like, and I'm sitting and I'm looking at her and I'm like, "Bye, Anushka."
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the whistle, because when the whistle blows, a different story.
That's it.
My thinking is that everybody on the other side, we have the same camaraderie, but none of the guys on the other side is my mother, nor my father. My mother and father are not going to go on the other side. They're not going to be playing against me. If you're playing, you gotta play.
So you say that your adversary, you came there to destroy whoever your adversary is. It doesn't matter who it is. You could be playing against your brother, you're basically saying.
My brother should be on my side.
Yeah, but
Why is he on the other side?
But if you choose to be at the
It happened before I played against my younger brother, Maarten.
Okay.
So while we're talking about volleyball, because I know the time goes so quickly, and we got to talk about baseball and talk about some of the, because I wanted to talk about some of the achievements, some of talking about volleyball. Who are some of your role models in volleyball? Who are some of the great volleyball players in St. Maarten that you have had the pleasure to play with, be amongst, to learn, to improve, let's say, the game for yourself that you look up to? Can you mention a few names of volleyball athletes that you would say that, hey, they really impacted my life in volleyball, in the
There's
sport?
so much of them that I hope I don't leave out any.
You can't mention all, you can't say
I hope I
all.
don't leave out any. Martina, the referees.
Yes, Martina.
I've never seen Martina play at his best days, but I've heard so much about him that you come in there as a child and you're like, okay. Then there was Gilbert Lucas, Papa,
Yeah. Oh,
Yes, Papa.
the late Papa.
Yes.
Then you have Carlos Patrick,
oh,
Hector,
Yes.
and I'm trying to come up to the later days.
I understand.
Hector
Is it Gums? Oh.
Hector Gums.
Yes, Gums.
How can I forget my good friend Hector Gums? You got Walter Spratt.
oh, no.
Wow.
When you leave from Walter Spratt, you gotta go over to Leslie Marlin.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
Marlon as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna start coming up because I can't forget Freddie.
Oh,
Freddie as well,
Yeah.
correct.
Freddie Brooks.
Yes, Freddie.
Yes. Freddie Brooks is great.
Then you come up the line, you got the Bells brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Clay
Frankie.
Tom.
But before you get there, talking about, I just need to make mention of William Marlon, because he was basically the mesh really in the coach that made it all happen back in those days, even for Autumn Boys and all that.
That's
Because
correct.
Yeah,
he
that's
was the manager behind Autumn Boys. Am I correct?
Sure,
with
of
that?
course.
Yeah. At one point, he decided, I'm managing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He managed us.
Yeah.
And but William, William Marlon, MP Marlon, was he the first coach of the Autumn Boys?
I think he was, huh? I think he was, because we were just playing with Tata as they on the field playing, and he's the one that making the decisions. That's where we started out.
Because in saying that, I wanted to know, I'm curious to know if it was William Marlin then who brought the atom bomb, because in my recollection, I believe that it was, Jeff, you would remember, Morgan, you for sure you would know, you guys know. I believe that it was William Marlin that really put the atom boys together. Is that correct? And if anyone,
No.
He was one of the coaches.
He was the coaches.
one of the coaches.
Melvin Gums.
Melvin
Okay,
Gums.
Melvin Gums.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Melvin.
Yeah,
Correct.
Tata.
Tata at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you come up to the later years that our
Yeah.
time.
Our time.
You got the Bells brothers.
Bells brothers.
You got Clayton. You got Gerald. You got
Gerald.
Wazi. You got so
Wazi.
much of people that I had the pleasure of playing with.
And what's it?
Bossy was
we
great.
can't forget him. I mean, he's from the Mountain Hill. Gerald James.
Oh, Gerald James.
Yeah, Gerald James.
No, he wasn't easy at all.
But none of them doing any promotions for Adolph. But what about Dolphy?
No, Davi was a good.
That's like Dolphy is more like how to say. If you look in the mirror, yeah, Dolphy and I'm all good.
Yeah, no,
You know?
yeah.
Morven
And Morven and Davi was the greatest.
could not have said it better.
Yeah.
That is true. You all were mirror of each other. Yeah, and and some of them. I think some of the most. I think that some of the most. I will say in the category of most fair strikers back in those days.
Yeah,
Because-
and blockers too. Davi
well.
and Mervyn was the best blockers
as well.
that St. Martin had.
But while you're talking about that, the volleyball now, Mervyn, I don't want to get the fact you are our guest today, and we want to talk a lot about you. Let's go to the Netherlands Antilles. Let's go into any other part of the world that you've had volleyball and say legendary achievement or highlights in this category of volleyball. Because I know we're going to talk about a lot in baseball when we get there quickly right after this. But in volleyball, talking about the Netherlands Antilles, the championships and all of that, talk about it. Talk about that a bit.
I've played in a couple of Antillean championships of volleyball.
Yeah.
The team St. Maarten also have a silver medal for representing the Netherlands Antilles in volleyball. I think that our greatest achievement was the one where we came sub-champ. I think it's Bahamas? No, Antigua.
Antigua.
One of them.
Okay.
That I believe was one of our greatest achievements.
And you played volleyball for many years. I believe that you were part of many selections of volleyball in
course.
St. Martin selections and
A few.
a few. A lot. I'm gonna put Jeffrey on the spot right now. Because Jeffrey, and you and I talk a lot about Morven all the time. And right here on Livestream, I want to just ask you about Morven Bauperthuy, the volleyball player, before we get into baseball. What are your recollections? What have been your experiences playing volleyball with Morven Bauperthuy?
Well, I recall back in 1981 when we played Antillean Championship against Curacao, Aruba, and Bonaire. I remember Mervyn was one of the greatest St. Martin hitters back in those days. I remember I was the one that got the most defensive player for St. Martin. I was very, very defensive in those days. And they gave me that particular honor. But Mervyn was always one of those that I always give him, when I give him a ball, I know he's going to pass. For sure. Back in those days, Mervyn was, number one. When it come on hitting.
So,
Yeah.
like you said that Morven, what was Jeffrey as a player? I'm sure you played a lot with Jeffrey.
Yeah,
And,
we played a lot together.
So, what was it that made you, the two of you connect? Because he was a setter and you were a hitter. And what was it, or let's say, what was it about him, or what's the type of game that you played with him or he played with you that made you become who you became eventually? Because we talk about, everyone having a specific, type of ball that you strike. Those are the category, the shorts and the mediums and the net. What did you specialize in?
I know it. I know what it was. Maybe we'll forget it, but I know it.
So you know what it was?
Of course I know what it was.
So
I played ball with Morven.
Yeah,
I know
he
it
was a
was.
setter.
I was a setter.
We had the same common goal.
Yeah.
We want to win. We playing for St. Maarten.
Yes.
Exactly.
And if you know that if you put the ball a certain place, I will hit it, but I will not get the maximum out of it. You try your best to put it where you're going to get the maximum out of it.
Yeah.
Because he is the field general.
I'm the field general. I set in the ball.
I'm just executing.
I'm setting the ball.
So Jeffrey, like saying that, what
Mervyn, top
Morven-
game was shots. Never forget it. Whenever I give Mervyn a shot, you know he's going to dig it. I know then he's going to dig it. I know for sure.
Morven-
So I was very good when it comes to shots. And then Frankie Bell, he was good at the longer balls outside. But Mervyn was good at shots. Never forget it.
I didn't hear you guys talk about Robert Dickinson.
No, Robert was good. But Robert was good at serving and stuff like that. He had a good serve. But Robert wasn't Mervyn. Mervyn was a more killer.
But
Yeah,
it took 6 of us to be able to play together.
that's true.
Right.
So each man on that team, just as important.
Yeah, I have Dwight Barron here. He said, "Greetings and blessings to all. Mervyn deserves to be not only recognized, but also decorated. Has he been decorated by the House of Orange Selection Committee? You ever been decorated by them? Never? Well, he think you should.
I agree
Thanks,
with him.
Dwight.
I
highly appreciate it.
I agree with Dwight as well.
I
on
believe-
that.
I believe
agree
that.
with Dwight as well on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know something? As time is moving on, I want to get into
Baseball.
Morven Bauperthuy, I would say the baseball specialist.
Yeah.
I would say, how can we talk about sports and not talk about Morven and baseball? Because I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Morven, I believe that you have achieved much more in baseball than any other sport. Am I correct to say that?
That's true.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
That would be correct.
That's why I saved it. I saved the baseball for the last. Let's talk to Morven about when baseball became a sport for you. At what age? We talk about like volleyball, but did you play baseball at a tender age? Little league, or but those days wasn't the league, with bush league and whatever you want to call it. But how old were you when you started playing baseball?
It's a good question.
I remember Morven back in those days.
I played baseball up mid-region with your cousin, Ronnie Matza.
Yeah, that's true.
As
But
way
before
back.
that, we played what we call it rounders with a tennis ball.
Correct.
Just across from my uncle's home. You hit the ball, and there's where I actually learned to track a ball. Because we played with your uncle Bobby would come up sometime and play with us.
Okay,
Those
okay.
guys was hit the ball.
Oh, you talking
But as
way
the
back?
ball go into the air,
Yeah.
it sails.
That's right.
And if it sail long enough, I can hold on to it. And there's where it actually started playing just like that. About my first glove was given to me by my uncle in Aruba. He's deceased now, Uncle Johnny. And that was a plastic glove.
I know the
Oh,
plastic
yeah.
glove.
Yeah, the blast.
When we came home and we started to get into baseball, the neighbor, which is Dennis Caceres, he gave me my first real glove. And we started playing with Risdon Gladiators, Seaview Gladiators.
Okay.
Seaview.
I used to go down on the field and run. And then there's a thing that a lot of people maybe forgot. The first 3 years that I played baseball, I was a strikeout king.
What?
The first 3 years, every year I had the most strikeouts.
You
Playing with
talking
we remember you played with Seaview.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I had
remember
the
you.
most strikeouts
Wow.
What?
because practice was needed. But I would practice and envision myself getting better. And as we got better, Tochi Myers decided, along with his brother Charlie, to make the Dodgers a stronger team.
Yes, yes.
And they started to make Dodgers stronger. And then Tochi pulled away and Tochi went and he helped the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying that, it is like those guys, they put everything into baseball at the time. So much so that Tochi Myers is the one, I don't know if you can remember, the left field used to be that you would run, and then you disappear gone down the trench,
Exactly.
and you come back up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Tochi's the one that fixed the field, and that no longer.
Yeah,
like
because that was a descent. That left field was a descent.
Yeah.
When you have you feel in the left field, you have to go down and get it. So he leveled it off.
Yeah.
But Joseph Richardson is asking if you knew about pork chop. You play ball with pork chop?
If I played ball with Pork Chop,
Yeah.
Pork Chop is one of the dearest persons to my heart. I
Pork
played
Chop?
with, yeah. We will get into that part of the story, but we didn't reach there as yet because
Okay.
we all over the place. But
Okay,
it's okay.
Correct.
Pork Chop started to play with Risdon, Seaview Gladiators. And we had another young man by the name of Dave Arundel.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we know Dave.
That's right. Dave.
From Kale.
We used to practice in Cahill and then sometime on the Carnival Village where it is now.
Yes.
And every afternoon, Dave would catch extra batting practice for me. And who would be throwing? Pork Chop, Lewis Richardson. And Pork Chop would scream at me because I had a tendency, wherever you throw the ball, to reach out and pull it toward left field. And Pork Chop would scream at me, "Young man, you're too talented to be doing that. That's an easy out." And Pork Chop and Dave keep fighting with me, grooming with me, polishing, until I learn when the ball is outside, it goes right field. When it's in the middle, it goes center field. When it's over here, it goes left field. Pork Chop and Dave are the two people that are directly responsible for who I became with a bat in my hand.
What?
Wow.
Pork Chop and Dave.
Okay.
And then
Imagine that.
how I end up on Dodgers is Tochi Myers again. We had two catchers. If I'm not mistaken, is Alejandro Pena and myself. And Tochi say, "You know something? This one's staying with Dodgers, Pena going Cowboys." That's what?
You can see that was basically as if like
I hope Jar and Tochi memory of it.
Tochi.
Baron said pork chop gotta be
They
decorated too.
correct.
But we can work on that.
Like you say, you mentioned Tochi and
Charlie Myers.
Tochi and Charlie Myers. I can think back on, it kind of like made me think back on the trying to pull the best athletes out of the different teams back in those days. Because I know I can recall it was I think it was Charlie that used to bring some players out of the Dodgers out
Yeah.
of Curacao. to
But
play
I think
with guys.
O'Neal used to play with them too.
O'Neal was
O'Neal
a
Richardson?
manager before.
Manager
okay.
before.
You see, if you don't understand what they were doing, then they're pulling the best players.
Okay.
Tochi and Charlie, Frankie picked it up after. They had this vision that St. Maarten and Curacao got to be able to compete on the same level. St. Maarten can't keep going and being destroyed.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
They changed the baseball by bringing pitchers and different players to bring up the level of baseball. And those players kept playing with us and training with us and keep bringing up our level.
I have Joseph Richardson again. He's talking a lot. He said, also, what about Calvin Brooks? He wants to know about him.
Calvin Brooks
Yeah.
was a cousin of mine. Calvin
cousin
Brooks
of yours?
passed away. Calvin Brooks passed away a couple of years ago.
But how was he in
One of the
baseball?
best. One of the best. A legend. Brooks was a legend. Brooks is right up there, sorry, with Naldo Jacobs and the rest of Ethan Hudson.
Right up there. Right up there. Cousin so nice.
Ethan Archer do.
One of the best.
When you're on that topic too, you're talking about one of the best, and maybe this might be a very difficult or complex question to ask you. Who would you say has been our most accomplished or most achieved baseball players in the history of St. Martin baseball?
There's so much of them. So much of them that, man, for me to start naming names, I hope again that I don't leave any out. I can go right back to where we stopped with volleyball, Walter Sprott, one of the most talented athletes in baseball.
Baseball as well?
As well, yes. Walter Sprott,
What?
yes.
Calvin
That's right.
Brooks, Bernard Davis, Kenneth
Bernard
James,
Davis.
Boy Cole, Naldo Jacobs, Sam Jacobs.
Sam Jacobs.
We, no, I reach it end yet.
Okay, good.
When
good.
you
I'll
talk
leave you.
about Sam didn't play most of his life here, but what we saw of Sam, when Sam was an older man,
Yes.
just gives you a glimpse in what
What
this
he
man
was
did.
young, when he was
Yes.
younger.
Yes. Like he said, Tyndall Skeet, one of the fiercest players there.
Fierce.
If you let Tyndall Skeet see 1 ounce of fear in you,
Gonna kill you.
God help you.
You know me, like we're talking about, you're talking to players, but sometimes it's easier to get a better picture of the players, maybe go to the teams. Let's say what was the
Caribbean
Caribbean
Lumber.
Lumber, for example.
Yeah.
Who would the greats,
No.
Ian Harleys, Lee and
But what you mean to that first baseman,
That's Alvin,
Alvin?
one of the best
Alvin
battlers
Hodge?
that they had.
Yeah.
Kind of ironic. When Carib Lumber was Carib Lumber, I couldn't root about that. I saw Carib Lumber in their later years. Now the
Okay.
Harley brothers are related to me.
Okay.
Claudius Harley was one of St. Martin's best pitchers.
yes.
Yeah.
But his brother Lee,
Lee.
on a selection, stand up side and tell me, I can tell you a secret, family. He first pitches fastball, jump on it, don't wait for him to throw the curve. He tell me, you don't believe me? And he went up, Claudia first pitch, we hit him on the hole. And from that day, I live by what Lee told me. Claudia always
Right,
put
the
the first
first
pitch over the middle. But a pitcher out of this world. I had the pleasure of playing with some very, very talented people. Go back to that thing where we was talking about taking the best players. At one point, when the Charlie Myers and Torchy had finished, St. Martin baseball was Curacao would win today, St. Martin would win tomorrow. Curacao would win. We were basically on an equal. Those are some of the guys that they had the first batting cages here. Torchy and Charlie started it, and then Frankie kept up with it.
Oh, so you basically saying that the Myers brothers were true pioneers of bringing baseball to what it became from those days back to the level that it was.
They were not the only ones, but I was directly involved with them, so I can talk about them.
Okay.
You got a Neil James,
Correct.
you got
Major Brown as well.
Major Brown is a different something. That's a special person.
Major Brown.
Okay.
I take my hat off.
He was in so many different things, not just double baseball, but
An
the
incredible
league,
human
and
being.
then, of course, Oh man,
He is an incredible human.
He is. He is. I was. You have to trim in every category because he is build legends. He's build icons. You know, and you can't talk about the sport and not mention his name. You know, I mean, you know, even Nell made a great contribution to Nell James.
Of course.
You know, so.
But you never dealt with the Little League, Senior League championship when they began here.
No, I was never fortunate enough to get to play.
You were too old.
Junior league. The Little League. The year that I started playing double A at age 15.
What?
That is the year that they started in St. Maarten.
Exactly.
And because I had just started double A, like we say it's not fair, you're double A. Never. I played Bush League. I never played Little League in my life.
Wow. Well, that's true. That's correct. We don't
People like you and Raymond, all those guys
we
play.
played.
Yeah,
We played.
they play.
Yeah.
Toncho Boncampo, they play.
Yeah.
Hughes and Holiday play.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I had the
And then Herman van Heinigen played as
I
well.
played with Herman for years on Dodgers.
Yeah, but he played Little League as well.
Yeah.
Herman.
Yes. Me and Herman the same age. But he didn't go double A that year. So
You and Herman the same age?
that's great.
There are two names that is in the back of my head right now. No, let me go to Alfredo Claxton. Let me go to Jose Slack. And let me go to, there's one more person. Jose Slack, Alfredo Claxton, and someone
Gilbert
else.
Cecilia.
Well, Gilbert as well.
Cecilia.
But those are players that you played with. But they were, to me, they were, how should I put it? They were just very talented players in the sense that,
We back to Alfredo Claxton.
yes,
One of the smoothest outfielders I've ever
Oh,
seen.
yeah.
yes.
I played left field and Claxton played center. Until when Claxton left, I went back to catch. There's another story. I caught for what? 17 years and then went back to the
17
center
years.
field.
Wow.
Yeah. Jose Slack,
Jose Slack.
one of the
Third
best
baseman.
third baseman I've ever seen. One of the best. As a matter of fact, we were in the 4th grade on Kunsak. And Angie, Jose Slack, was the only person that really knew baseball. So we was basically trying to follow him
Yeah.
and drive the class.
Wow.
And, I got the third
Really
name.
classic.
Tony Scatliff.
Oh, Scotland.
Scott Liff.
Scotland.
He was,
He came from Hoover.
Exceptional with the back of his hand.
yeah.
We still
one
play
of-
on the same
one of
team
greats.
softball.
Okay.
And how does he play?
He still plays a high caliber for the 50 and over.
Wow.
What?
Some things you don't forget that easy.
Scatliff is one of them. So coming back to that.
Oh, somebody said, don't forget Tony Arnell. He said he was a great man behind the plate.
Tony
He used to
Arnell-
catch.
Tony Arnell was one of the best catchers back then.
Yeah,
But Tony,
that's what he said.
But Tony left. He went to
He went to Curacao, yeah,
You
but he
know,
played ball here.
When Tony went to Curacao, Tony then had a career here.
Yeah, we had a career here.
Okay.
Tony went to Curacao to go to school for police.
Yes, the police called.
He played there as well.
Yes.
But he was already playing here in Somalia.
Yeah, Tony had a brilliant career here. There's so much of people that you can talk about. You know, that's why I don't believe in this thing where you compare this one to that one. I don't believe in it. It's from different times. For instance, if you want to compare me to Destry, me and Destry played together.
Yeah.
It's a great comparison. We played together.
Yes. Yes.
But how do you compare Destry to, let's say, Raymond Brookson?
Yeah, okay.
They never played together.
No.
We don't have any records. Where are the records to show what Brookson did, what Destry did, if you want to have a comparison? Isn't it? So why are we comparing each other?
So
We all had fun.
So
Brookson was a good
Of course, Brookson was a good ball player.
ball player.
if I have to take that back, because you're making a statement that what we think now more on a, let's say, Now I'm going back to another sport, the NBA. There's always been this discussion about the GOAT, greatest of all time. You're saying they played at different eras, so how can you compare them? It makes the argument of Michael Jordan and LeBron James and something where you can really not say who was really the GOAT because you're saying you can't compare anyone. So what you're saying is more is that there was never, we can never say that we have time. That's what you're saying.
I said a little more than you said there just now. I said just a little bit more. I said we don't have any stats. They didn't play at the same time. The people that are basically involved, in who is the greatest GOAT. If I am for Bill Walton, I saw Bill Walton play. I was in Bill Walton time, I saw what Bill Walton did.
Yes.
If I'm in Michael Jordan time, I saw what Michael Jordan did. If I'm in LeBron time, I saw what LeBron did.
Yes, that's where the debate goes.
For me now as an athlete, I am honored to have had an opportunity to play with all the greats from Samara. And I would like to believe that I took a little piece from each one of them. Because whenever we spoke, I was always asking questions.
I don't want these names to come out of my head. The Vanderbilt brothers in Cold Days.
The two Vanderbilt.
Frankie and Sinclair.
Frankie Sinclair.
Exceptional ball players.
Great ball players.
Great. Frankie is still here walking around every chance he gets, he's at the ballpark.
Yeah, I always see him there.
Ball players.
No, I see him there.
Great ball players.
I have a gentleman that came on by the name of Junior Maku. You know him as well?
Of course.
BG Hammer.
He used to play baseball too.
Yeah, he was a pitcher.
Yeah.
Played for French Quarter.
Marshall. Oh, okay.
Also a professional boxer.
Yeah, that's Gina's brother.
That's correct.
Okay.
BG Hammer.
That's a cockfight man.
He's a cockfight man.
What's up, Junior?
Boy, you got a lot of people on, boy. People like crazy.
I said at the beginning.
You know for Lawrence as well? Glenford Lawrence.
Yeah,
That was the son of Maarten.
Clean brother, yeah.
Clean brother. Clean brother. He played baseball as well?
Those fellas played baseball long before my time.
What?
I played with Clean.
You played with Clean?
Yeah, that time Glenford had gone to the States. The
Holland.
Yeah. And a motorbike man.
Okay. What?
I was thinking, oh boy, I just say that and I gotta pull back myself. I was gonna say, who was some of the great baseball players out of Phillipsburg? But when I go into that area, you can't. Bobby Flan.
Bobby Flan? Yeah. But you play with Bobby Flan as well?
That's correct. Bobby Flan was one of the people that helped me with me. Yeah. Bobby Flan was one of the guys that, if you give him a bat, he tells you, I can hit a ball to the right field. You hit the ball
Yes.
You hit a ball to the center field.
Technically so.
Wow. And that's what Poke Chop. Bobby, great person. Great.
Carlisle came on, Carlisle Rogers. He said Morven Bauperthuy was my schoolmate.
That's correct.
Kids,
Friends to today.
he said been friends.
Forever.
Then Giselle Hubert. I don't know who that is.
Hubert?
Giselle Hubert. I think she's from the French side.
Oh, Giselle. Gotta say
Giselle Hubert. Nah, but you have a lot of people on. A lot of people.
You had any questions?
A lot of people know you.
Questions coming in, but Morven, you talking about the Netherlands and the former Netherlands and Phillies. Right now we know that in terms of let's say the league, it's the league. The country of Curacao is achieving much.
Yes. Yep.
Something is happening in Curacao, whatever they're doing, that their players are superior to the point that they are obeying international tournaments, you know, in first place. What have we been doing wrong over the years that let's say Curacao has been doing right over the years?
I'd like to answer that in two different ways. If Curacao is ahead of us in sport right now, right, with baseball, and Curacao is playing, let's take a small number, 20 games a year.
Okay.
How do we catch up with Curacao if we are playing 5 games a year?
That's true.
That's true.
We got sun all year long. We have to try and play more games if we want to catch up. But the second part of my answer would be, what if I were to tell you that Curacao is willing to help St. Maarten with the little league, with the baseball? Curacao has always been willing to help. Always.
Okay.
Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Curacao consider us part of them. We just had a tournament here, and what's the man's name again? The gentleman's name? Used to be one of the ministers. He was the manager for Alpha Zelda.
Liebe Elahik.
No.
Okay.
This one was one of the ministers lately. The name slipped me, but I caught the first ball that was thrown out. And coming out,
Oh, but you saw it, yeah. I saw a picture with you catching the first ball. Okay. What was it again? Yeah.
he walks over, he said,
Oh no, that was with Chick and that was a Chick.
oh,
Chick,
that's-
chick, chick, yeah. Chick,
he
chick.
walks over to me and he says, you know, we consider you one of us. I said, then help us. And his answer to me was, we are always there willing to help. What are we waiting on?
So what are you what are you basically saying?
I'm saying,
I'm getting you.
I'm saying we don't have to reinvent. They have the success
They
formula.
have this.
If Curacao travels to play in a little league tournament, let's say they travel with 18 players, 12 of them are pitchers. 12 of them are pitchers, not can throw. 12 of them can give quality innings. It's a formula for winning. It's time for us to get back to work. Curacao.
Kalai Rogers said the great Kenneth Geisberta
Kenneth Geisberta.
was Alpha Zelbo's
That's
manager.
Kenneth Geisberta we're talking about. Told me flat out, he said, we're willing to help anytime. Thanks, Kalai.
Yeah.
Kenneth Geisberta.
And I noticed over your career, to look at the news articles and so, Morven, quite respect by, in particular, Curacao, as well as why so? I mean, was it because of your performances in the international tournaments and what they saw in you, going to the games and just zooming in at you, say, this guy has a lot of talent and probably we need to pull him out of St. Maarten and get him to higher heights. Was it something like that? And how were you able to develop the relationship with them? Because I followed that over the last 30 years or so of your career. You had a lot of relationship with Curacao players and Curacao coaches. Was that because of the but who created that for you? Was it because you went with Charlie and told you at the beginning? Somebody had to open those doors for you, or was it that they saw you and they themselves pulled you out of the pack and say, hey, we want to focus on this individual called Morven Bauperthuy and build him? What really happened?
I can't tell you the year, but William Allen will be able to tell you the year.
William, okay.
William Allen and Edgar Lynch was involved with the Baseball Association. They looked for players from St. Maarten to be on the Antillean selection.
Okay,
1986.
I was one of the players those selections.
Yeah.
You had from St. Martin. You had
Only Rumley,
Yes.
You had Alvin Albus,
Alvin Albers,
Richardson,
Tyson Richardson.
myself.
Yeah.
Then you had Renaldo Houston, Cedric Pedro, Boyko,
Boyko.
Simon Pantaflet, and Rudy Bailey. I believe there's a couple more that came after. I think Stephen Carty is also one of them.
Stephen Carty.
All of these players are known in Curacao. It's not me alone. All of us that played on the Antillan selection, the friendship, like I said, it's not only about winning. The friendship and the camaraderie goes on for the rest of our lives.
Well, I have Bernard Lake. He wants to know if you can talk a little bit about the great Cowboys. Bernard Lake, he was Cowboys.
Bungie.
That's Reggie's son.
Bunchy, how you doing?
Yeah.
Cowboys was a great team. A great team. As a matter of fact, Kalai was manager of that team at one point. I think Tochi managed for a short while.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Tochi manager.
They were all boys from my village.
Yeah.
And then we brought in
Yeah.
a couple. Again, I just
I
said,
played with them too.
we brought in. Because even though I was playing with Dodgers,
Dodgers.
Cowboys was part of me.
Sure.
I had two brothers on the Cowboys team. Two blood brothers. I ain't talking about guys. All the rest of them, my brothers up to this day.
Okay.
But the Cowboys was a
Tough team.
a great team. But like
She was essential with that team as well.
the great best baseball in the league all times. St. Martin, lovely baseball team of all times.
Caribbean Lumber.
Team would be considered the best team of all time.
Again, I've heard stories of Carolina. I wasn't in that time span, so I can't tell you. I've seen players, some of them exceptional. Material, the balls, the way the game is played, the bats, everything has changed. For me, two of the greatest teams, I would say three of the greatest teams, baseball team in St. Martin would be Tigers,
Okay.
and Sunstars,
Okay.
and Dodgers.
What?
That's my era. I cannot tell you about what I don't know.
No, I understand.
If you
what
can
you're
pull
saying.
up the
I understand what you're
records
saying.
on Carib Lumber and show me, then I can say, okay, you can show that this one is better. But I can to played against Ben and Son Stars. I played against Tigers. I've been on that.
Then I saw with Kenneth Warren, those guys.
No, that was Hawks.
Oh, those Hawks.
That was Hawks.
Hawks, yeah.
Ben and Son is Ronnie Jacobs,
Oh, yeah.
Mikey Hyman, Rene Guichard. You can continue. Chicky Bailey.
Chicky Bailey.
But have you ever played with the Tigers? The KL Tigers.
If I ever played for
You,
him,
you know?
yes, I have.
What?
I won a championship with the Tigers.
You know, you see, talking about all of the, you talk about the baseball. You have been, if you will to look at this on a level of, let's say NBA basketball or Major League Baseball, professional league where you got scouts coming in and they negotiating players and been moving them from team to team. I believe that you have probably been the most scouted player in terms of being scouted to various baseball teams than anybody before or after your time in baseball. I don't know if you would agree with that. Jeffrey can agree with that, but from
I agree with that.
looking at, I would say that Morven Bauperthuy has been one of those players that has moved to various teams because you were scouted out. They wanted to pull you out of the various teams to have you be a part of their team, I guess, to win championships?
I would think so to a certain extent, but don't forget that we have players like Denzel Richardson in Holland right now.
Oh yeah.
Denzel played professional ball.
But he played ball here as well, Samantha.
He played Little League here. Denzel grew up right here. He played in a tournament here last year as well, and hopefully, if we got the tournament this year, we're going to see him back again, hopefully.
So,
Denzel is doing a
I
great
have
job
Frederick.
carrying the torch.
I have Frederick Williams. Frederick Williams is a good friend. You know Frederick Williams?
Yes.
Who's married to Joyce.
Yes.
He said, "What about Lou Bailey? What do you think about Lou Bailey?"
Been one of the greatest catchers. One of the greatest catchers and one of the disciplinarians in the game.
yes, very much so.
If you really see a young fella come up and he's doing something, you really, yo,
Don't do it.
I can tell you one of Bailey's sons, but not Russian. That time the style was you wear your pants down.
Yeah.
Russian got on first base, and Lou Bailey was the first baseman at the time. Russian got his pants pulled down. Lou Bailey cut me, look at him, what do you think this is? A fashion show? Hands up. And you know, Papa Bailey, you don't question it.
Don't question
Never
it.
pull your pants halfway up. You grab the back of the pants and pull it up the rest of the way. Yeah. Great ball player, great person.
Morven, in the some of the promotional pictures that Jeffrey sent out there, I saw for those live stream viewers and those who who saw it on Facebook and may not have known who are some of the people he was standing by. In particular, I want to single out the great Andrew Jones. I saw you. I was really smiling because looking at you on the picture of him, you, in terms of stature, you stood out. You stood out in terms of physical stature beyond the great Andrew Jones, and he was someone that was known to hit a lot of power home runs while he was in Major League Baseball. So I'm looking and I make comparison of that as to if Morven Bauperthuy was able to get to the majors. What type of a ball player would you have been in the majors? And I wanted to also know when you met Andrew Jones at the time when you took that picture with him. What did you talk? What did you guys talk about? Was he already in the Atlanta Braves?
Yeah, that was in Andrew's late days. Andrew was visiting at Sunset Beach Bar where I was working.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I was a night shift manager at the time. And I'm
Okay.
standing at the door, and Marcel Flan asked me, "Chief, is it okay to let the lady come in?" Because they were spending money, and the lady was throwing a lot of tips for Marcel. Let her come in so I could show her to make a couple of drinks. And you dealing with clients. It's a service. Go ahead. Of course. And she's in the bar interacting with Marcel, and Marcel is sharing stuff. And out of the corner of my eye, I can see that this gentleman is looking at me. So I turn and I look at him, turn his head. So strange. And they continue, and he's looking at me again. So I didn't turn and look at him. I walked around the bar. And I said, "Good evening, sir. How are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm good." And then is when I realized who was standing in front of me.
Yes.
So I said, "By the way, where are you from?" He says, "I'm from," I said, "Don't think I'm rude. Give me a second." And I raised his sleeve. He has a tattoo across here.
Okay.
I raised his sleeve and I smiled. Moved the back of his shirt. He has another tattoo directly on the back of his neck.
You realized that you knew who he was. Yes.
I said, "You're not from America, so don't tell me you're from America. You're Henry's son." And he was like, "Yes." I said, "You're the Curacao kid. You're Andrew." And he said, "You're I said, "Correct, I'm over to you." He said, so he get the camera. And that was it. Scamine Saint Dimitri, a little caption, and he put under it, two of the greatest center fielders I've ever seen. Yeah. To be likened to Andrew Jones was
Wow. Yes, yes, that's a material.
great Andrew Jones.
And out of all of these ball players that made the majors over the years, over the decades, Curacao or Maarten or wherever, who would you say have achieved the most in Major League Baseball? Would you say that it's Andrew Jones or someone, another player?
And Andrew Jones has achieved the most on the field. But if you look at all the videos, Hensley Merlins
Yeah.
is the one that has achieved, in my mind, the most. Hensley Merlins is the person that is directly responsible, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, for the big change in all of those Curacao ball players.
Okay.
So Andrew Jones achieved most as a person on the field,
Yes, yes.
and for Curacao,
In your career.
Hensley Merlins has achieved the most for all the ball players. Those that are there now, those that are in the system, and those that are still coming. Because of that, when you say that the ball players from Curacao, everybody stops.
I want to jump to Aruba. We can't leave up Aruba out of this. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to today, back as far back as you can go and mention a few great baseball players out of Aruba. We have right now, I think he was the San Diego Padres. He just left the Boston Sox. He is achieving much. You know, today baseball is a very, how should I say, financially accomplished sport. You make a lot more money. It's just like what's his name, LeBron James making a lot more than Michael Jordan. It's just the era. But Xander Bogart is doing well. He's an accomplished baseball player out of Aruba. But you had also a shortstop player back in those days, and you played baseball that made it to the majors and played. For some time he got an injury. He was a shortstop player, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Remember?
Merlins?
Oh boy. But do you have had any relationship with Aruba baseball?
Of course. I'm trying to remember the names of some of the guys.
Orman Nelson.
Nelson. Orman.
Nelson is still busy helping kids now.
Okay.
Okay.
You have Ailey Cock.
Oh, Eddie Cobb.
Also.
This brother of mine used to pitch alongside Ailey Cock. His name always slips me. He was right now, yesterday, the day before, he was doing a broadcast. One of our best pitchers. If somebody could help me with his name.
A strong guy from Santa Cruz?
I'm not sure where he's from. You have the Teal brothers, you had Toby Abraham, you have Kai Kai.
Kai too.
You got Rumley, a good friend of mine. You got a lot of great baseball players now. At one point, we are the same. We are the same. A couple of years ago, baseball in Curacao was right down. Baseball in Aruba was right down, practically dead. Then you got the guys made it to the big leagues, and baseball picked up. Same with Aruba. Xander made it, and baseball
Picked up.
got my fingers crossed and praying somebody from here soon make it and make a change in our baseball as well.
You know, we said a lot in the last probably hour and a half, Morven, and you said something that got my attention because, coming out of these, while these programs are very informative and they give a lot of background information as to the careers of we talk whatever subject which you know, you said something that got my attention, that triggered me in the area of sports, which we are talking about today. When you said about Curacao was saying we are open, we are prepared, we are ready to assist in Maarten right now. That's what you said. Always right
Always.
now. Okay, if you were given the task of putting this together, what you basically said about right now with Curacao and being able to get young athletes from Curacao, helping them be able to interact with them, to join with the Curacao athletes, or even to go to Curacao to train down there with some of the coaches and the managers. Is that something that is doable? Is that something that you would be able to indicate, let's say, to the government of St. Maarten, who would be the people that would be able to assist St. Maarten in making that happen? Because Curacao is achieving so much, not in the Latin American region, but in the world. So that is how great Curacao is. If they're part of the Kingdom of Netherlands, why can't we capitalize from Curacao? And in this case, what is the hold up? And what role would you, I'll put you on the spot, Morven, what role would you be able to play in an area such as that?
If you want to contact Curacao, it's quite easy. I got numbers on my phone countdown.
What?
Quite simple. Make a call. Do what you have to do.
So you're basically telling me that if I'm in charge of sports, Mr. Maarten, and I'm not saying whether head of sports or minister of sports or what have you, and I would call you and I say, Mr. Bauperthuy, I heard you on the Interact Livestream Program. You made some very interesting statements, things that are possible for our young people, our young sports players in St. Maarten. Assist us? Would you be able to assist us? And how soon can we get this off the ground? And then the question would be to you, but of course it's going to have a price tag to it. And would it be so that we have to send our kids down there, or would the expertise come to St. Maarten? How would you go about that?
Ideally would be to bring people to St. Maarten. Remember, your kids has to be in school as well.
That's true.
So if you send the kids there, they're not in school, or you have to arrange school in there. If you bring people here, you can work from here. But when I say bring people here, it can't be today, and then tomorrow there's no program.
Basically, you need to reside here. So
It has to be continuous. Whether the person is residing here, my ideal story would be teach me to teach others.
Okay.
So you were saying that would be the solution to get our kids then get to the next level.
That would be the beginning. I'll tell you a small story. When I first started to play baseball, I was 15 years old. We were at 15 years. You had, let's see, 6 AA teams. Every year, each one of those AA teams took at least 5 children, 5 youngsters. You had the same in basketball at the time. Every year, one of those basketball teams took at least 5 players. Do the maths. 6 times 5. 6 times 5. Same with volleyball. Were those children all about on the road?
No.
No, they weren't.
No.
Sports is the answer.
So this makes then the case, because I tend to say at times that times has changed and people are more into technology, more into Facebook and what's happening on the computers and all of that, and the internet, Google and all. So sometimes I tend to we have lost that generation. We have lost that gap. If we are not able to get our children playing sports again to that level because of the time that in the era that we're living in. Is that a true statement, or is it can it be changed in the sense, because you are saying here based on the sports, this category of sports, is that it is still doable because Curacao is doing it. Curacao, the problem in Curacao is not that the young people are into, let's say, the internet and all of that, and they're not interested in sports anymore. You are saying that the children of the young people of St. Maarten would be still interested in sports if sports is being stimulated.
The young children in Curacao are into the internet just like how we were in our
Exactly.
Use it. Use it to reach them. Come to the ballpark when there's a tournament and see how much youngsters that haven't played baseball for the last 15 years are here eager to get a chance to play on a team.
No.
That's only baseball. That's correct. And that's only baseball I'm talking about because I'm at a baseball field so I can see it. But if you speak to people like Dimitri, people from the basketball, people from the different sports,
The interest is there. Interest is there.
Interest has always been there. But we have to find a way to upgrade.
Wow.
The internet. If you look at Major League Baseball, almost every player has a tablet and he's analyzing what he just did.
I got you.
Use it.
I understand what you're saying.
Use it.
But we need to be guided, we need to be educated, we need to be supervised in that area. So we have to, so basically, Morven, we have to invest in that. As a country, we have to invest in that in order to see the results.
Investing in sports is investing in your youth's future. And sports also brings a lot of tourism. When you go into Curacao, there's a big billboard, home of
And
Ozzy Albies.
yes.
Right now there's a new video out about Curaçao's success in baseball. The children, the old story of the American story is build it and they will come. They're talking about the stadiums and the whatnot, the ballparks.
Build it and they will come.
We have children here that want to play sports. We have talent here. We have talent. I have a batting cage in my backyard. There's children there, constant.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't know, I'm watching Jeffrey all the time because of the time. Because this is getting very deep and very interesting for us. Because you have touched, what we talked about your career. You also gave us a lot of insight and advice as to how we can take sports forward, specifically baseball, and then you're saying that the same model can be used in other sports.
Of course.
Because you're saying that sports is not that is there.
Sports in St. Maarten is far from dead, and you have capable people here with a little help from outside can do it. We have capable people here that can do it.
So who can? If I were to ask you, if you had the power to get it started, where and with who would you start to get it off the ground?
Unfortunately, I don't have the power, but the first thing I would do is to start a study with Curacao. What are you doing? What are we missing? Where should we pick up? When you got that information, have people here that knows what to do.
So you would bring the expertise from Curacao, put a budget on it, bring the expertise from Curacao, bring them in for some time, and let them advise you as to how to move forward with sports, the pro.
For me, it's a way to start.
We don't have to go anywhere else, Netherlands, we don't have to go anywhere else. Right there in Curacao, and the solution is right there in our neighbor.
Actually, the solution is right here on our island. Our children. That's our solution. But, like we say, start a study with Curacao. What can you do to help? What we need? What we missing? What we can do? It can be done.
You know,
You can start a study here to find out how much children are interested. Come by the ballpark when there's a big game, an international game. You see how much people there.
Lots. Yeah, full of people.
I understand what
But I see something. I think they had basketball sometime here.
Basketball, volleyball,
Battle of the Fitness, of the fittest. The place was ram-packed with people.
I understand. I get your point. I get your point. Your point is clear. You know, and you know, I think for time's sake too.
Yeah.
We're out of time.
We are out of time, yeah.
I think when we have covered so much, and I really appreciate where we ended, because out of these types of live stream interviews that we have to, we like to come out of it that we can go with, because these programs are archived, so you can play them back. You know, the three of us are going to look back at the program to see, you know, for us, we look at how we can improve on it. For you look at, you know, what was discussed, what was said, and you know, but there are others too would look at this particular interview because of this subject of sports that was discussed. Probably even the minister of sports can be one of them that would be interested in this, because it would get his attention, you know, to want to play his part too as well. And but I believe that it cannot stop here. Right? I think that is something that needs to be pursued. And you have already given the impression to me and to Jeffrey that you are open, you are willing to assist wherever you can assist for the sake of St. Maarten, love of sports, and love of country, and everything that has made you become who you became over the years. You still have that passion on the inside of you, Morven, and that cannot die, and that won't die, because when that dies, that means Morven doesn't exist anymore. So I'm saying all that to say that we need to, and I would hope that you would, out of this, be motivated to probably make this step. Maybe want to make this step and saying, guys, you know, let's do something. Let's do something. And on that note, you know, I want to thank you very much to all of the live stream viewers from all around the world who has been with us all of the time, and who without you, this program would not be possible. We want to thank you very much for taking time out of your Saturdays to be with us. And Morven, we ask you to give some final words of you know, encouragement, motivation, whatever you would want to say that you may have missed to the people of St. Maarten, but also to the rest of the world who are out there. Morven Bauperthuy, the legend. What do you want to say in closing to the people on live stream?
But before you continue, Roberto, I want to also mention our live stream program, which is going to be live at the Bel Air Community Center, where we're going to have persons come in, and instead of just looking at live stream online, they'll be having an opportunity to look at live stream from inside of the building of the Bel Air Community Center. There'll be opportunity, and there they'll be able to give a donation towards, you know, whatever we're doing. We want to see this be a program where we're going, make sure that we have much more guests coming on. And I try as much as possible, or we try as much as possible, to make sure we have persons that can give information that have contributed to St. Martin, so that before they even pass away, they're able to give information about their life and what they have done for St. Martin, etc. So we want to invite all of you to be a part of this particular program on October 7th at the Bel Air Community Center. So we ask you to come out, bring out a friend with you, so that you'll be able to, be a part of whatever we're going to have on that particular day. We're going to actually be having a pre-constitutional day commemoration, which is 10-10-10, which is the day when we became a country, St. Martin, and we are going to have the prime ministers that are going to be there, that are going to be discussing the time that they have been prime minister for that particular time. So we ask you to come out, and you're going to be able to give information, ask information to those prime ministers that are going to be there, that are going to be given information pertaining to the time that they spend being the prime minister for that particular time. So Roberto, you can continue.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for informing and our guests out there. Just to add to what you're saying, it's basically a normal live stream for us, like what we normally do in this set, like this setting, Morven. But the only thing is that we will have a guest, we will have an audience in that at that location, while we have all of our live stream viewers all over the world, as we normally do. So we are promoting that. Jeffrey is the one that is spearheading that. He's doing a great, tremendous job. I want to thank him for that. We want to thank you much, Morven, for coming on, and making this contribution that's really moved me to look back at sports, and because I really thought that probably maybe we had to not give up on sports, but try to refocus. But what you just said there, you basically gave the answer. So I want to really thank you very much for coming on behalf of Jeff and myself for our program Interact Live Stream. And I want to ask you to just, in closing, say whatever that comes to your mind that you haven't said, in addition to what you've said already. So this is the time now to give your closing words to the people of St. Martin, as well as those watching all around the world on Interact Live Stream. So thank you very much for coming on. God bless you, Morven. And I need to ask you what keeps you so fit. Because for those of you who we're here, we're watching Morven. I'm Dr. Morven. I say, well, how was he able to stay so fit? He's been 30, 40 years ago. So, but you didn't give your secret on that. You didn't say how much times you're bench pressing.
Yeah, but one other thing he didn't mention as well, how his name was changed from Morven to Morven. He didn't mention that. So I would like to know that, and persons would like to know that as well. Because people keep calling Morven M-E-R.
Maybe M-O-R is his official name.
That's correct.
You see?
Well, that's your official name.
That's my official name.
So that's on your passport.
That's what's on my passport, ID card, everything. When I was going Milton Peters College, every diploma had, everything had M-E-R-V-I-N. So all my life I wrote my name M-E-R-V-I-N until I went to get an ID card. And then when Billy handed me the ballpoint, he says, but Billy's wrong. He said, that's your name.
No, I understand. I
If
get
you
it.
want to change it, you
I get
have
it.
to pay. So, well, it's good, just
All of your diplomas and degrees and everything, all of those things are still with M-E-R. So you got to change those too. It's not a subject. So Morven, Morven Bauperthuy, please talk to us. Talk to the live stream viewers, and give them the words as to whatever you want to say as we close off the program for this afternoon.
Thanks for having me in here. Guys, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
Amen.
I like that.
I love it.
Let's
I
get
love
to
it.
work. And
Let's
on
get
that
to work.
note, we want to thank all of you. We wish you all a blessed Saturday afternoon. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Go to church tomorrow on Sunday. And have a very, very successful week coming this week, Monday. And hope to see you guys on Wednesday evening when, like Jeffrey always said, we have our Home Alone at 7 p.m. in the evening. Thank you very much, and God bless.